Welcome. This is Rick Koppel. It's another episode of Nautilus Guru Guide. Greetings, salutations, everybody. We're back and ready to roll. Yeah, so I've just been working on that. Let me check. Yeah. Said I got sound, so. Yeah, so I've just working on that. Let me hold on. Said I got sound, so. There we go. Now I can watch y'all and do that at the same time. So, yeah, so we were working on DD. DD is the name of the game. What does DD stand for? It's not Daredevil, I can tell you that much. And, not Dark Knight or anything like that. So, what does DD stand for? Well, we'll answer that question in a bit, but first we'll throw out a little history on it. Started in 1974 with the 5th version of Unix. Tried this whole Unix program from a long time ago. Kind of eventually got wrapped up in the core utilities, and then it been maintained ever since by several people. But one of the main ones that's maintained the longest, probably, let's see what his name, Jim Meyerling. Meyering. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. Mereying or something like that. Sorry, I'm butchering it, but there you go. So, anyways, we got that going, and the history of it's been kind of long. So, but it started out as a Unix program, and it's finished with DD. So, what does a DD do, you ask? Well, somebody's texting me. The joys of live stream, huh? My wife wanted to know where I was at when I went out to Rock Bottom to brewery to eat a little quick dinner, lunch, so to speak. That's where I've been, and just got back. Had to get a travel thing for the rest of it, a box, take-home box, for the main part of the nachos I ate. So there you go. That's one of the reasons why my voice sounds a little raspy. Wait, DD was a basically, if you look at excuse me, we go over to, let's see, yeah, there we are, and lower. Now you should see the terminal on my laptop here, and DD convert and copy a file. That's what it basically does. It converts and copy files over. And there's a lot of options you can put to it, and a lot of different things you can do for it. And its basic design when it was in its Unix state was to copy and convert files, and it also was a excuse me, I'm trying to get my throat clear a bit. His main purpose was to look at copy drivers and work with those most of the time. So back in the Unix days, and nowadays it's mainly to use to copy ISO files over to USB or port. So you can copy them on a stick and that kind of thing. Yeah, so it really does it, and it does it well for Linux, but it only works on Linux, it seems like. It's one time I tried to do it on a FAT file, and it works, but I can't get it to boot up on my Surface Pro, so there you go. Part of the issue there. So At any rate, that's what it does. It converts and copies a file. So what does DD have to do with it? You wonder. That's that in a minute. Anyway, wanted to look at DD, and mostly it's used to copy nowadays. At least by most people, by home users, because we don't know all about that driver stuff and writing stuff to drivers and things like that. So why would we want to try and do that, you know? But it's usually used to copy files over to, copy ISO files over to the USB stick to make it a bootable USB stick. So, yeah, how do you do that? Well, I'm going to show you an example, which is in my bin directory. Script that I wrote, basically. DD to ISO. DSD ISO to USB. Okay. So, file simplifies making bootable USB drives from ISO using DD. The syntax is DD dist ISO to USB full path, the name of the ISO file. Whenever you enter in on the command line is what was processed and installed into the drive, totally erasing whatever you have on the USB or disk. So double check what you've entered before hitting enter. I attempted to provide some safety checks to prevent mistakes, however it's possible. Erase your hard drive using this script. Use this script at your own risk. I'm not responsible for any data loss incurred by the use of the script. Me. So that's where it gets its name from Disk Destroyer. It's kind of funny, humorous name, so to speak. Because typos have crept in, and it's basically been, typos have crept in, and people who make typos have a big problem with it. So typos would cause problems when they have it's usually typos can, on rare occasions, cause data loss, which is it could destroy your disk. That's why it's called DDs, and that's why they have a disk destroyer as a humorous name for it. It's not really the name for it, but it was originally given for it, but it was considered kind of a joke or a prank, as they call it, basically, back in the day, because they had data loss, not data loss, but because they used a Unix job description command or something like that, and because of that, they say it's a prank. But of course, what the original name that they gave it, they say is for data distribution or something like that, some weird thing like that. So anyway, yeah. So you have this data distribution, and it basically writes in and out of files. Now we'll go through the script real fast and we'll see what I got here, okay? So you can look at it and decide for yourself. Maybe you want to use this, maybe you want to create your own or something like this, who knows? But I did it this basically to mitigate the chance of doing a typo. So putting her in the command line every time. And I can just do this, and it will be a safety catch, and I'll make sure I enter the right thing. It's worked so far for me, so that's good. Okay, so get file name and extension. This is from the command line where you do your full path of the ISO file, and it'll get the file name and extension, so you can check see if it's an ISO file or image file, one of the two, and if it's not, then it will kick you out, I think. So it's like action based on extension, which case extension in iMessage or ISO, then it processes the file. If it doesn't, then it kicks over here down here to a later function where it just goes out of the file. So you enter your last, first it prints out LSB bulk. Now what's that, you wonder? Well, LSB little k bulk, LS bulk is a list, the blocks on your, or otherwise known as hard drives, or drives on your partitions and such on your disk. So I can go here, whoops. Open up another thing here. LS bulk. You get that on my computer. There's the SDA1, and that's an 8 gigabyte hard drive connected to somewhere. Not sure where it's connected to, but it's connected somewhere. And I have a NVMe 0N1 and partition 1, partition 2, partition 3, which is all the different partitions it needs to work. So that's my main hard drive in NVMe, and it's NVMe, so to speak, obviously. So yeah, that and SDA1 is an 8 megabyte disk, and that probably, I don't know where it's coming from, but at any rate, that's a boot if I got, yeah. I think maybe I have maybe SD1, SDA and SD1. I don't think I have two drives in this computer, so I don't know where it's coming from. I have it connected to my USB ports. Oh, I know. Oh yeah, I have a micro SD chip in here. That's what it is. That's SD1 now. Most SDAs are the main hard drive for your computer unless you have an NVMe type drive on your laptop. So SD1, it's 8 megabytes, 8 gigs that is. Micro SD chip that I have in here. SD card. So that's what that is. So if I want to install it to that, then if we do that, once it does that, you see it lists out the drive so you can tell which drive you want to install. Install it to. Installing. I have several makeshifts here because enter the last letter on the drive to install ISO on A through whatever question mark. If you install A, well, first if you're installing FN, it tells you what you're installing, on what drive you're installing it for, and yes or no. The default is no. You have to actually type yes to do it. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm installing on. So it'll start installing, except if you press letter A, it'll go down here. And if D letter equals A, then you're installing to what is normally the main hard drive of the system. For most hard drives, the system start with A. First disk you need to get logged in and put on your drive and stuff. And so that's part of the deal. So I double check, make sure that they really want to put it on an A, because if it's not their main drive, it is their main drive. You don't want them to do it. Yeah, because it'll erase the whole drive, and that'll be the end of their system for the time being until they install it fresh on there, and then they can be a lot of trouble for some people, especially if they only have one computer. That'd be a big problem. So that's Disk Destroyer 1. That's one typo somebody make if they type the wrong letter. Then they can destroy the whole drive. Now, one of the things you have to do too is then after that, it says you want to do it. So then the next thing it does is it goes to the mount system, checks for mounts, make sure that they don't have any mounts on them. So And to do that, it uses a fdisk, which is really a partition manager, but it does give you the ability to list out your partitions in a way that I can use in a script to make sure everything is unmounted if it is unmounted. So that's part of what that does, is make sure everything's unmounted on the disk you selected. Of course, if it is your hard drive, then you'll know it then, probably, because unmount your hard drive and you have a problem. Your main hard drive. So, yeah. So anyway, let's see. We've got that, then. Okay, there's where it changes the list of partitions on the drive and ensures they're all unmounted. So it does that. The sudo. So you may have to put in your password at some point right after you get that. And so it amounts any that are mounted. Activate installation of ISO file and select the drive. Now this is where DD comes in. Sudo DD if one, in other words, the file that you put in, the ISO you put in, is your IF. When IF stands for input file, your input file. That's the file that's going into the system, and that's when you put in your heading up on the command line. So then the output file is your drive, the USB drive you're going to go to. We just verified what it was and all that kind of stuff. BS equals 1M. Now that's not saying it's going to be BS in reality, but it's your bytes that it's using. So I've been instructed or read or something like that that your bytes are really the kind of thing that determine how fast it will process. Of course, fewer bytes, more or less faster process. So I got some pretty good. Just 1 megabyte at a shot. It'll process a megabyte at a shot. And the next one is some flags. And status equals progress. So that is a command that'll be in there that will make sure that when it says we're done, we're actually done with the thing, with the movement of the file or copying the file over. What often happens if you don't put that on there is that we're what I'm trying to say. Yeah, if you don't put that on there, status equals progress, then it will probably end, but it's still writing the file. And so it'll look like it's finished and done. Some people will yank out a thing before it's finished or copying the information to the USB stick. I don't want that to have happened, so I have a status equal progress and it keeps it from doing that. So then if it has an error other than 0, which means it's successful, and it says success, we're done. If it doesn't have an error, it does have some other than 0 there, then it's error, and it says error detected. And then it ends the script after that. So that's it. And then you have it's in your case file, case section, and given instructions on what type of extension to use, as it appears the user doesn't know or made a mistake. This is extensions. This is when if you enter a file in the command line that doesn't end in image or ISO. Must be an image or ISO file extension. Use following format. Easy way to get the full path to use your file manager to copy the target file, then in the terminal you paste it using Control Shift V after you type in DD ISO to USB. That's why you do that. It's pretty simple, actually. It's not got too complicated script there, but it's just enough to give you an idea what DD does and how it works and that kind of thing, and how you can use it to create your own ISOs. So let's go back. Now, that's what DD is, and that's what it does. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you where the name came from. Well, the name came from the basically was a guy who wrote I don't know, he wrote the program, but back in 1974 is listed as I think I mentioned before, it's just as Diplo disc. I can't think. Uh, dis distribution. Data distribution is basically what they think the name came from. One of the primary reasons why they wrote it. Back in Unix days, it was basically to distribute data, and they could write drivers and stuff like that. So, yeah, because if you don't specify an input file (IF) or an output file (OF), input file, if you don't specify that, then it goes from your typing on your terminal what you enter input, and if you don't specify an output file, it'll go to your screen on your computer (OF). So you should try that and experiment with that, but don't experiment too much because you might erase your file if you do it. Erase your disk. That's the danger with that. That's why having a script so it'll always work the right way I intended it to work. I have to worry about mistyping something in that regard, other than if I type the wrong letter and I say yes, 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 and then it goes on through. That'd be problematic for me. So, yeah, that's how it goes. And I think that's pretty much all I had for today because I just want to make a short video about DD, let you know what it was and what it does. And, oh yeah, then one person had a thing as a prank. Now, I don't really understand the prank very much. There's a Unix job description command or something like that. And since it was written in that, they wanted to keep that format. So, it's still an odd way that it does it, which is basically the command. The difference is that the commands options all in, you have a letter equals blah, blah, blah. Whereas in normal Linux and Unix nowadays, the options are dash dash and then the full name and then the equals blah blah, or just single dash will give you the option for the abbreviated name like A or O or whatever, and then you can equals that, or sometimes I don't even have equal signs, just as dash A, or then you have to put the text you need for equal on the value on the other side. So, but that didn't have dashes in front of the letters, and it just basically was O, A, or whatever you had for your commands. So yeah, that said, he considered a prank at that time apparently, to back in the old days, to make it sort of like to make it sound like it was old Unix job description code instead of more modern stuff in it. So there you go. That's the difference, and that's what it runs for. And so they consider it a prank to a certain degree, based on the culture. You kind of get that a little bit. So, and So some people saw it as that, and some people thought it was just that. It's not Daredevil. It's not Doggy Dog or anything like that. It's just a copy program to copy your ISO over to your USB. Nowadays, for the most part, that's what most people use it for in these day and age. I don't know, it works on Windows, but it works on Linux. That's cool. So anyway, we'll see you in the next see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to subscribe. If you haven't, you want to follow me on this journey of mine, or you want to find other distros maybe that are helpful for you. I'm going to be reviewing distros occasionally and all that kind of stuff. No guarantee when I'm going to do it, that kind of thing. Just pretty much when I have time and when I have something to review or something like that. So I thought I'd get this out since I used this in the last video about Linux Mint Debian Edition, and thought you'd be interested to see it and see my ISO file and all that kind of stuff. Until next time. Oh yeah. Also, if you want to make sure you don't miss a video, best way to do that is to click the bell too, because the bell will send an email to you every time I put a video. That way, no matter what the subscription algorithms do, it'll give you a notice that I've started a video and you join in. And nobody was able to join in today, but that's fine. So, yeah, nobody joined in, so we will. That's fine. Well, because I'm just making these to create the videos for people to review after the fact more than to do it as the fact, so to speak. With that, we'll say bye-bye. See you later, alligator, and all that good stuff. And remember, may Linux Force be with you. Bye.